Guy who will have to fill in all season long for Al Williams, who was a cornerstone of this UC Santa Barbara team for so many years. Their head coach, Bob Williams, 4 wins away from hitting 300. He would become the 3rd coach ever in Big West men's conference basketball history to hit that 300 mark. So see if he can add to that number in his 18th season. These teams, as we mentioned, meeting for the 2nd time in about a week. It was a 10-point win for Long Beach State in the first meeting. For more on that, we go to a 3rd member of our crew, Rashawn Haylock.
And Mark, it's rare indeed that these 2 teams will be meeting in the regular season for the 2nd time in a span of 8 days. And depending on which head coach you talk to, each one feels like the other team has the upper hand in tonight's matchup. As for UCSB is concerned, they're just trying to get through this gauntlet of the beginning of conference play. Their first 8 games, they will have played this Long Beach State team twice, UC Irvine twice, and Hawaii twice. That's 3 of the top 4 teams in Big West Conference play entering this week. Bob Williams thinks if his team can just weather this storm, they'll be okay because they're typically better in the second half of the season. And we looked at some of the numbers, guys. Over the last 2 seasons in December and January, his teams are 17-12. In February and March, they're 16-3, Rogo.
So in the words of the great Howard Jones, things can only get better.
Yes, they can.
Ready to tip things off here tonight inside the Pyramid. Again, glad to have you along for our Big West men's basketball game of the week. The Beach win the opening tip. Great pass underneath. And Nick Faust finishes the first bucket of the night.
Well, definitely you want to get one of your stars of this team using that backdoor cut to alleviate himself to get inside the paint. It's a great pass and great finish by Nick Faust.
I told you about A.J. Spencer filling in the gaps, and there he is right there with the laser-like pass into the hands of Faust to give a 2-0 lead here to Long Beach State. Into the lane, ball is blocked away. Bivens can't handle the loose ball. Shot clock down to 8. And a wide open Maxwell Kupchak underneath the hoop, but they didn't see him. Instead, onto the perimeter, and the shot clock expires.
You got to have recognition of the clock. But he was up. Kupchak was wide open under the paint there. You got to be able to see everyone on the floor. But, you know, Mark, this game is a special game because, you know, Santa Barbara has a bad taste in their mouth from their loss. But then also, Long Beach State wants to get this win because these teams they're still familiar with each other. And it's kind of rare. It's almost like an NBA kind of season. You play a team and you're right back playing this team again if it's a back-to-back or a Sacramento playing, Sacramento coming. You know, so this is going to be a good game tonight.
Shot clock down under 10. Bivens looking for an opening. He's double-teamed all the way across the top of the key. Spencer for 3.
Well, what A.J. Spencer does, he can shoot the ball. And if he starts off making shots early, it's going to be a long night because he can flat-out shoot the ball, and he can drive and penetrate and find his teammates that's open.
Spencer shoots 40% from behind the 3-point line, but he's 1 for 1 here tonight. High arcing shot.
The skill level of Michael Bryson to be able to take that 2-dribble pull-up and shoot it with range for mid-range. That's what you want to see from wing guys, being able to shoot the mid-range shot as well as just driving all the time.
Skip pass across. Spencer will try another one. Yeah. He bangs it down.
You know what? Like I said again, this is a guy, he's a rhythm player. He feels the game. He understands the game. And when he gets shots that's open, he's going to knock them down like he just did again.
Averaging only 9 points a game, and he's got 6 already. And we're only 2 minutes and change into this first half. Early 6-point lead for the Beach. Gauchos looking for a response. They go into the post for Bryson. Look at the spin move, and he teardrops it down.
Man, that was a lead move. And we talked to Coach Bob Williams
you can't stop that.
You can't stop it. But we talked about what Michael Bryson has been doing. He's becoming a complete player, working on his post game, his shooting game, all the facets of it to be a good player.
Faust was long on the 3-point attempt, but some good work underneath by Mason Riggins, the freshman forward, wins it right back and then draws the foul.
But just look at the patience, taking his time. That is an Elijah Wan post move. Faking down to the baseline and spinning and then shooting the high arc and teardrop. It's just a beautiful move by Michael Bryson.
He's a foul off the ball here. Going to go against Michael Bryson. His first. And so the 49ers will inbound from underneath the bucket. Right into the hands of Levin. Now they swing it back for Faust. A little strong on the three-point attempt once again, but that one at least drew some iron. Gabe Vincent will bring it back the other way. Head down, out for Kupchak. That one's long off the iron as well. Bryson saves it, pass underneath. It was blocked. Beeler had a look at it, but it's going to be a foul on the floor against Long Beach State.
But it all started with Michael Bryson. He is a guy that can go to the offensive rebounds. He gets the rebounds and then finds Kupchak under there. But one of the most athletic guys also for Long Beach, and Gabe Lemon getting there and blocking the shot.
Here is Bryson. Catch, lets it go. That one was wide right. And here's Bibbins pushing it up the floor now for Long Beach State. 8-4 their lead. Turning the ball over for the first time tonight.
Well, you know that Justin Bibbins, what he does best is doesn't turn the ball over. He finds his teammates. You have to be aware where he is on the court and have your hands active and ready to catch it.
The sophomore guard ranked nationally in that assist-to-turnover ratio. He comes in 43rd in the nation on the night. Vincent looking for an opening. Nice cross-court pass. Three ball. Too strong out of the hands of Eric Childress. And so the team's exchanging three-point misses for the last couple of trips down the floor.
Well, you know what? One thing about Eric Childress, if he gets a wide of a look, he's shooting 57% from the three in conference play. So that's a guy you can't leave open when three-point basket.
Bryson, you can't stop him. That's his third bucket of the night.
Well, transition, being athletic the way Michael Bryson is, attacking the paint, switching up with different hands.
Switching up with different hands. Nick Fowles goes hard to the left hand, and he throws it down.
Well, for me, being a wing player and playing this game, you love to have a matchup between Nick Fowles and Michael Bryson. Both of these guys are athletic. They play the game the right way. They attack with tremendous force, and it's good to see that with Nick Fowles finishing with a two-hand jam.
And how about that? The two leading scorers from each team matching up at both ends of the floor so far here in the first almost 5 minutes of play.
Well, you love to see that about these teams, both players coming out, the guys that we...
How does Long Beach State slow him down? Do they need to run a double team at him, or is it enough to have Nick Fowles for now match up with him 1v1?
Well, you got to try to run him off the line, try to double him in positions where he's confident in. But, I mean, you know what? It's going to be a long night for Long Beach State if Michael Bryson making those type of shots. But you just see that last play. What is that, a 30-footer?
I was going to say that's probably 8 feet behind the pro three-point line. I mean, he was closer to center court than he was
Michael
to the
Bryson
top of the
Curry. That's what we're going to call him right now, because that was a Curry shot right there.
That cuts the lead to a point. As we approach 15 minutes left here in the first half. Nice little move down there on the post.
Well, just a great improvement of Gabe is understanding where his mismatch is. And one thing, you know, he's getting better and better, trying to get that finger back in order. And that sometimes kind of slows him down. But he's starting to play with the rhythm of the game and understanding where he could pick his spots.
He's coming off of tying a career high with 20 points in the two-point loss against UC Riverside. Loose ball underneath. Long Beach State takes it up. Bibbins, skip pass ahead. Fouls!
You know what? It all started with Justin Bibbins, recognizing who's running the floor. Nick Fowles is a transition play, throwing the ball right in pinpoint accuracy, and then Nick Fowles does it like the best of everybody, finishing.
Great pass from John Green on the backdoor cut for Eric Childress.
Well, that's the name we'll love to hear. Both for John Green. Love to see him back now, coming back from that ACL injury. He's still filling himself out, but he's a guy that can play, make, attack the basket, and facilitate for everyone else.
Bryson, and that's going to be his second foul of the first half. As this one comes at the offensive end, and that is exactly right now what the Gauchos can ill afford, to lose Bryson for extended minutes.
The way he started off this game, knocking down shot after shot, and Coach Bob Williams talking about one of his biggest concerns is recognizing those turnovers and getting in foul trouble when we was on the call. So you look at it now, he's in foul trouble, so you got to bring someone else in, but you miss that point production and just all his abilities in the game.
And Corey, it might just be coincidence, but the leading scorer for Long Beach State coming into tonight, Nick Fowles, also will go to the bench. He had been D'ing up on Michael Bryson. Pass out top. Spencer's already hit 2 threes. He'll take this one into the lane, and a nice little floater with the left hand.
He keeps going. You know what? Some players, it's almost like Jamal Crawford. he might not be having a good shooting night, but once he starts to hit shots, it continues to flow. But A.J. Spencer is a very confident player, and he knows how to play the game, so I'm not surprised, and I know you're not surprised when he makes those types of shots.
Lead is 5. Gaucho's looking to cut into that lead with this trip down the floor. Shot clock down under 10. Looking for an opening. Green, he'll try the 3 ball. That one's a little flat on the shot. That'll come off for a rebound and back the other way here for Long Beach State. Bibbins, he'll call his own number from 3. Will not go down, and Green grabs the rebound.
Well, you love that shot for him because he can make those shots.
Here is Green, wide open lane, and to lay it off the glass.
You know what? Last year, John Green would have dunked that. But I just love to see that he's coming back and he's still feeling himself out, getting that knee right. But just the confidence level of John Green helps his team out even better.
So Bryson had the first 9 for the Gauchos. He's now over on the UC Santa Barbara benches. That left-handed effort will not fall there for Rashawn Prince. And after Bryson had those first 9, now it's Eric Childress for the bucket.
Yeah.
And then just moments ago, another bucket, this one by John Green. There's that 3-ball. Look where he's at.
You see where he's at, but you know what? Not just the shot. When you have a high basketball IQ, you recognize the clock. You saw Michael Bryson. He looked at the clock, knew that he had to shoot the ball, and that's what you want from players, understanding the game.
I get that, Corey, but he still had enough time to put the ball on the floor for 1 or 2 dribbles and pull up.
Why are we talking about it? Michael Bryson Curry. That's what it is. He got some curry chicken on that shot.
205 career 3-pointers for Michael Bryson, the senior guard from Sacramento, California. And so at 205, he needs 16 more to tie the record, 17 to set himself in the record books of the Gauchos.
He has a bright future. If he continues to expand his game, Michael Bryson, I mean, this is a guy that could play in the league or definitely play overseas for a very strong team.
Mitch Brewy couldn't get it to fall from underneath. As you see Bryson over there on the bench again, he has 2 fouls, so it'll be other faces that'll have to step up here and try and cut into this 5-point lead for Long Beach State. But on cue, Bryson makes his way over to the scorer's table, while Mitch Brewy makes his way to the line for a pair.
Well, you know what? Bob Williams right now is relying on Michael Bryson to come in the game and play without fouling. And that's one of the greatest things as a player. When you have your coach that believes in you and recognizes different situations, he can go out there and play free. But we talk about Brewer here on the free throw line. You know, him and Prince, you say they're probably one of the toughest guys on both teams. They play with a ton of energy. They don't get a lot of shots, but they do all the little things to help their team win.
Corey, I'm seeing the chess match already start to play out because as Bryson comes back in, immediately Nick Faust comes back in for Long Beach State. Bryson's going to have to be very careful to make sure he does not pick up his third, as we still have 12 minutes and change to go here in the first half.
Well, you see they had to switch the matchup with Nick Faust is getting him off and putting DeJuan Smith on him. But that's just a smart coaching move. Get your best guy, take him out of there so he won't have to go out the best player so he won't get any quick fouls on those plays.
Bibbins with the quick release, and it's nothing but net.
I just love his confidence.
Lead back up to 6 now for Long Beach State. DeJuan Smith, the senior guard, getting some touches here. Here is Smith, little 15-foot jumper, doesn't get a kind roll off the rim here inside the pyramid, and back the other way for the 49ers. Bibbins can bring it up to 4 so quickly. Brentford Jones out top. Hammonds to the right hand. Nothing doing there. He'll leave it for Jones. Now Hammonds back out top. Faust immediately pulls up.
Should have been
another 3-ball.
Well, you know what? When Travis Hammonds comes in a game, he picks up the intensity and the tempo of the team because he can bring the ball up at their 4th position. But we love to see the best player.
Be the best shooter. He may not be the best defender, may not be the best rebounder, but you know what? When you need that rebound, A.J. Spencer's going to get it to you. When you need that big shot, he's going to knock it down just like he has so far in this first half, guys.
See if he can continue his perfect night. As that one a little bit too strong from T.J. Taylor, the senior guard from Oakland, California, has checked in here as we're close to the midway point of this first half. 23-14, Long Beach State out in front. Bibbins will reset the offense near center court. In on the block for Hammonds, and he overthrows it back out top, and that'll be a backcourt violation. And a turnover number 3 on the night for Long Beach State.
Well, with Long Beach State, we've seen the game here with UC Irvine. I think their biggest Achilles heels is turnovers.
Almost is themselves.
Is themselves. It's not their ability on the court, because they're probably one of the most talented teams. They have a great starting five, and then they have a superb bench that's coming on. But if they cut down on their turnovers and lock in defensively and then have the discipline of the game, they should be in a better situation.
Green looking to hit. And is that going to be on Mitch Brewy, or is that going to be on Brian? That'll be on Mitch Brewy.
Yeah. I didn't see what happened. Probably a little bump inside.
Tussling for position down.
Love tap, like
little love tap down there in the paint. Never hurt anybody. So Bibbins will bring it up the floor. Straight pass, Fouls couldn't handle it. Looks to go right back up with it. And I think it's going to be another quick foul on Mitch Brewy. Yes, it will. So his second.
When you're in the zone, you have to recognize backdoor cutters. And, you know, we talked about Brentford Jones, what he brings to this team, understanding zone defense when we've seen it against UC Irvine. But just recognizing where Nick Faust is. He should have dunked the ball, first of all. But then he got the ball, recovered, and went up for the foul. But just a great play. Is feeding off of what Nick Faust can do tonight. Just an unbelievable start for him in his first half.
Knocks down the first free throw to give him 10. Good as well. Lead as big as it has been all night due to a 7-0 run here by Long Beach State as they lead by 11.
Well, UC Santa Barbara got to keep Michael Bryce in the game, but then you got to get your next best player, Gabe Vincent, to try to get going.
Beeler, nice cut. He'll throw it down. Excellent pass from Maxwell Kupchak as well.
Well, great recognition, cutting to the basket, and Sam Beeler recognizing and dunking the ball in the paint.
Billy Gaucho is able to get the lead back down to single digits. Hammonds doesn't even hesitate to throw up a three. Bryson will pull down the rebound. And he is yet to score since he came back in the ball game after going out with the 2 quick fouls early in the game. Nice cut underneath, and there's Kupchak with a finish of his own. The 6'7" freshman forward out of the Brentwood School with his first bucket of the night.
Well, you know what he's doing well? He's moving without the ball.
Yes.
And he's finding those little gaps and opening. But then Long Beach State, you can't have guys run behind you and get easy backdoor layups. That's 2 in a row. But defensive, you have to be better.
We talked about movement off the ball. Look at Santa Barbara and the way that they're doing it. It's the guys that are moving without the ball that are creating space and holes to finish at the bucket.
Well, great pass, but it all started with the ball fake. And then also Sam Beeler recognizing and cutting to the basket. And then Kupchak understand as well, when you're in that zone and you don't know where your guys is, continue to move and find an open spot. But that's going to be a big problem for Long Beach State if you're not guarding guys and knowing where they are.
Kupchak rises up to tap the rebound into his own hands, and now it's Bryson. Beeler tried to go quickly, and he traveled. 4th turnover of the first half for UC Santa Barbara. With the lead at 7. I think Bob Williams over there maybe asking if there should have been a foul call as Beeler turned right into the defender. So here's Hammonds, and out top now for Branford Jones, the junior guard. Jones is swinging around for Spencer. Hammonds. Looked like another turnover, but no shot clock reset. Beeler can't pull down the rebound. Bryson will run it down. He tries to keep his dribble. A little bit reckless, a little bit out of control.
Great hustle.
And you hear Dan Munson, Corey, over there arguing that he went out of bounds and can't be the first guy to come back in and touch it. That's directly across the rush, so he could not see if Bryson did, in fact, go over the boundary.
He definitely went out on that play.
Yep.
You can't do that, but I just love the hustle. He's a wing player. He's going to be a guy when the ball is up trying to get out and transition early. But you love both teams going down on the floor when there's a loose ball.
There's the zone defense again for UC Santa Barbara to try and keep the 49ers from getting in and getting penetration in the paint. Shot clock resets with the offensive rebound. Jones, that comes off. Faust going over the back, and he'll be whistled for the foul.
Well, you see right now, Long Beach State is going a little cold in those shots. But what they need to do is cut down on their turnovers. Turnovers gives UC Santa Barbara a little rhythm. And now you can see it's starting to shift. It's 25-18. They come down and make a shot, then you right back into place. But they have to be more disciplined on the defensive end and on the offensive end and not turning the ball over.
You see Dan Munson over there having a quick word with Travis Hammonds, the junior guard. Probably a little bit something to do with his shot selection. He's hoisted up a couple of just random shots without really looking like it was in the flow of the offense so far here tonight. 8 minutes to go here in the first. 7-point lead as the Gauchos trail. Bryson overcooked the pass well over the head. Your train of thought over there, Rashawn Haylock. Good work by you, my man.
I love the college atmosphere.
The Maniacs going crazy. This is their first home game back since their winter break. So I would imagine there's a bit of pent-up energy for the Maniac student section over there. We'll see if they can will their team to a fourth conference win here tonight. 18 on the shot clock. Great pass underneath. Riggins tried to put it up. Beeler went hard for the block. And it's going to be Mason Riggins, the freshman forward, heading to the line for a pair. Riggins a 34% free throw shooter, so it's actually not a bad foul here, Corey.
Well, it's a good foul, but also it's just a great pass by Gabe Levin. When you're in the zone, you got to find the guy that gets in the middle. And they started with A.J. Spencer, recognizing, getting the ball, throwing it to Gabe, and then Gabe throwing it down to the post. But that's the way you beat the zone. If you're not making shots on the outside perimeter, you go to the middle of the paint and get inside.
I believe that foul was on Maxwell Kupchak. Those free throws no good. Look at the battle for the boards there from Gabe Levin. Pulls it back down, and another reset on the shot clock here for Long Beach State.
One of the most basic things in basketball is boxing out. And you got a guy like Gabe Levin who can jump. You have to box guys out to get those attempts. Look at that.
Clock down to 12. Faust in the corner for three. It won't go down. Beeler pulls down the rebound and into the hands of Eric Childress, the junior guard.
Great pass, touch pass there by Justin Bivens.
Bryson, corner three. Nope. Still scoreless since he's come back in the game after leading with 2 fouls in the early 5-6 minutes of the ball game here tonight.
Well, I'm looking at this stat sheet right now, and the one other person that you would expect to score is Gabe Vincent. He's 0 for 0 from the field. So what that tells me is he's not being aggressive right now. You have to take chances because the team needs you to score the basketball.
And speaking of Gabe Vincent, he picks up the foul there. That's his second personal here in the first half. And that will send Gabe Levin to the line. Levin, a 62% free throw shooter on the season. And the first one will not go down. We've had a little drought in scoring, Corey, here for the last few minutes as the lead stands at 7. And it's been that way for, what, about 3.5 minutes?
Yeah, they must have turned up the AC in here. It's getting cold.
So the second free throw coming for 11. Team's leading rebounder. He's also the leading shot blocker.
You know why he's that? Because he's active. You know, when you guys, you get on the court, you're active, you go after the plays, you recognize mismatches, you attack the basket, you go for rebounds, and that's what Gabe Levin brings to this team.
By the way, with the foul, recent foul, Long Beach State in the double bonus the rest of the way. And at the other end, they've only committed 14 fouls. Green had a look at a three, passes it up. Going baseline, spin move in the lane, left hand. Oh, I like that.
Love the move. And the more and more John Green gets confidence, the better he's going to be. And sometimes when you come off that injury, sometimes you kind of worry about what moves you do. But he's a really good player.
Corey mentioned the injury as Green steps in. You see him wearing the heavy knee brace on the right knee. The block from behind. As Faust got all the way back defensively, and you like to see that kind of effort.
I love the effort. But also, we talked about John Green before that. Before that knee injury, he would have been a lot faster down the court to kind of get that layup. But he had to throw it up to Eric Childress to try to make the play. And Nick Faust is another guy that runs the lane, tries to get block shots from behind. and just great effort when you get a turnover. But their biggest problem, Long Beach State, is taking care of the ball.
20 seconds left on the shot clock. Just under 6 minutes remaining here in the first half. Inbound underneath into the hands of Beeler. Immediately hoisting up the three-pointer is Gabe Vincent, and he cannot hit, so it's Long Beach State quickly back the other way. A.J. Spencer, they flip it out top for Levin and swing it to Faust. His three ball is good.
I knew that was good when he left his hand. But you can't give shooters any space when they can shoot the ball with long range. You need to look at the scout report on what Long Beach State does in the NCAA. They shoot like 39.4% as a team in the entire NCAA.
Nick Faust, by the way, with that three, leads all scorers with 14. Gaucho's leading scorer with 11. Michael Bryson with that bucket at the other end of the floor. Hammonds back into the ballgame. Free throw line pass. Won't go down. Green had a look at a steal. Instead, it's underneath for Levin, and he gets caught too far underneath the bucket. Childress will bring it back up the floor for UC Santa Barbara. A little shimmy to get some space. Jump stop. And, ooh, nice handle and a good finish.
I love the ball handling by Eric Childress on that play. But Travis Hammonds has to take care of the ball because that's 3 turnovers. Him having, like those lackadaisical pass right now. But that's going to get UC Santa Barbara back in the game. And we talked about this before, it's the turnovers. Yes, I definitely know that my mom experienced that same thing, having heart surgery, so I understand what Bob Miller is going through, and he's one of the guys that you want to model yourself out there, so get well soon.
Bivens amongst the Giants, and that's the 5th turnover by Long Beach State. We're in the midst of a 10-4 run, and that's a huge jam from Michael Bryson. He's got 13.
Gogo, was that you that just dunked the ball? But, man, I tell you that, his ability to get to the rim and jump the way he does and recognize that, this kid is special. And if he keeps continuing to get better, he could take off.
Corey, there's got to be a spot on him in one of the teams in the NBA. Maybe he's not a full-time contributor as Faust hoists up a 3 and he can't get it to go down, and a chance to tie with a 3 or cut it to 1 with 4 minutes to go for UC Santa Barbara.
Well, I'm definitely calling Tony Parker after this game to let him know.
Are you name dropping on me already?
I'm name dropping right now.
And there is a 3, and we're tied at 29 apiece. A 9-0 run right now.
Well, you know what the problem is for Long Beach State? They're one of the most talented teams in this league. But if they don't have the discipline on the defensive end and the offensive end to cut down their turnovers, they'll be a good team. But that's how they let teams get back in the game, because they're careless with the ball, and it changes the momentum.
Faust runs into his own player in Travis Hammonds, and that is turnover number 6 for the 49ers. All of
your turnovers is costing you this game, and now it's a tie game, and the momentum has completely shifted in UC Santa Barbara's favor.
Or as you can see, we've got 2 of the top 5 scorers in the conference on hand here tonight inside the pyramid. Bryson leading at almost 19 points a game, but Nick Faust of Long Beach State not far behind at 15.5. He was a little higher earlier in the season at just above 16 points a game, but they've also gotten a balanced scoring effort from other guys on the beach. Here's Green. It was his 3 that tied it just moments ago. Beeler trying to post up on the block, but Levin does well to push him out. Here's Green. He'll let it go, and the banks are open. The Gauchos have the lead.
It's rhythm of the game. It's momentum, and the momentum has completely shifted for UC Santa Barbara. But that's been a problem. I'm just going to continue to say it, because Long Beach has to understand is that they're probably one of the most dominated teams in this league, but if they can't take care of the ball, they get teams an opportunity to find a rhythm, and now you have a guy, John Green, who's coming off that injury, start to find his rhythm in this game.
Faust has been hot and cold here tonight. He's hit a few threes. He's got 14 on the night.
Look at that.
And underneath for Bryson, who just throws it down. Not as maybe exciting and dynamic as his other dunk moments ago, but he's got 15, and it's a 5-point lead all of a sudden for UC Santa Barbara.
But what UC Santa Barbara missed, especially on this 14-0 run, is what John Green brings. He's a playmaker as well. And Michael Bryson understanding that, hey, if you're not looking, having ball man to see where the ball is, if you could get a sneak pass over the top, and what John Green got to Michael Bryson.
Shot clock down to 6. Bibbins, he'll create his own. Jumper a little strong, but there's fouls to clean it up off the glass. And an easy 2 for the Beach's leading scorer. He's got 16, and the lead is 3.
The 2 stars of this game that we talked about before the telecast, and Nick Faust and Michael Bryson, you know, they're not disappointing tonight.
Not at all.
You know what? You love to see the best players show the world what they can do on a stage like this.
Levin has still had trouble finding his scoring touch so far here. Excuse me, Gabe Vincent has had trouble finding his scoring touch tonight. Chance to tie with a 3 here. This is Levin. He'll let it come off the front of the rim. And we tick toward the final minute of this first half. Childress, the junior guard, surveying the scene, double teamed out top. Pass for Green. He'll pull the trigger on the 3, and he's got it.
Great recognition by Eric Childress, taking his time when actually they're trying to double him. But when someone is doubling each and every one, knowing their abilities. And sometimes you got to learn how to win, and you got to learn how to handle to win. And right now, they're trying to figure this out as a team. And collectively, if they continue to do this, they could be a dangerous team. Turnovers.
Another turnover. That will be the 7th turnover of the night, and the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen a high pass back out top go over the head of Justin Bibbins. Shot clock and game clock separated by 5.1 seconds. Well, you know, for all intents and purposes, Corey, this could be the final possession of this first half.
Yes.
Right now, a 6-point lead for the Gauchos.
Dan Munson is pulling his hair out.
Can you blame him?
I don't blame him because of the turnovers. You know, Long Beach State is a talented team. But their turnovers, and that's all about focus. You have to focus in on the little things, and the little things in the game are turnovers, which turns into a big thing for a team like UC Santa Barbara. They're starting to find their mojo and get back in the game.
Childress driving into the paint, and it was last touched by the Gauchos, so 12.4 left on the game clock. Inbounded to midcourt for Spencer. He'll drive hard with the left hand. Beeler coming over looking for the block. Should stay at this end of the floor, as it looked like Sam Beeler was last to touch it, but the guys in stripes say it's going to go back the other way.
Yeah, Prince touched the ball on the last, trying to get the tip dunk.
Bryson over on the bench with his 2 fouls. The Gauchos' leading scorer will sit for the final few seconds of this one. Kupchak with a chance to throw it up for 3, and he got fouled.
Wow.
Rashawn Prince trying to close down the space, the sophomore forward, and too much contact, and that should send Beeler to the line.
You know what? It started on the play before that, because when A.J. Spencer had that runaway trying to get to the basket, sometimes you have to recognize the clock to get guys back, so you run that clock out, take the last shot so you won't get a situation like it stops on a dime, and the defender can't do that, and then the next thing you know, he's on the free throw line. But you look at this game. Look at this game right now. 23-6 run in UC Santa Barbara favor, but it all started with turnovers. They locked in on the defensive end, and then Long Beach State didn't lock in on the defensive end and then take care of the ball on the offensive end.
Kupchak is one of 4 players for the Gauchos that shoot above 80%. You see his dad, Mitch Kupchak, the LA Lakers general manager, in the crowd here tonight. Not a far drive from up there in Los Angeles to come down here to Long Beach, depending on the Southern California traffic. Don't forget, tomorrow it's more from that hallway series. The Lakers and the Clippers set to do battle at Staples Center tomorrow night. We'll have that one for you.
Attack the zone for others. They can't be selfish, can't just do it for themselves. And I asked him about the second half woes that they've had so far this season. He said, yeah, I know. We don't have time for that.
Yeah, how do they attack the zone? Because it seemed like they were getting buckets in transition, maybe the first 7-8 minutes of that first half, and all of a sudden, with UC Santa Barbara scoring and Long Beach having to pull the ball out and inbound it each time, they could not figure out the zone.
Well, when you start off in the beginning knocking down 3-point shots by A.J. Spencer, and then when you get cold, you have to switch it up, and that's when you get a guy in the middle of the zone, and that guy becomes the driver and the facilitator for those teammates. But when you get that in position, you can't turn the ball over, and that's been an Achilles heel for Long Beach State.
Spencer, who got the scoring started in the early minutes of the first half for Long Beach State, misses a little left-handed floater there. Bryson will pull up from 12 feet. That one has nothing but air inside the pyramid. And what a play from Maxwell Kupchak, diving out of bounds in front of the student section here, and he throws it off of the foot of Justin Bibbins. 16 left on the shot clock, and it will stay at this end for the Gauchos.
Well, you have to do the little things, and this is a kid who has watched the game, not just the college game, but the NBA game, and knows what to do as Michael Bryson finishes with the left-hander. But the rhythm, man, they're just playing exceptional ball right now for UC Santa Barbara. All of them are clicking on all cylinders, and for a team that's really trying to find their identity, they're doing it tonight, Mark.
Bryson almost close to his average here. Here's the save first. You see, you can't really blame Bibbins, just not enough time to react. That ball comes off of his foot, and then the result, quick inbound. Michael Bryson finishes with the left hand, and now a chance to go to the line for the three-point play.
And he's having a great game. You know, playing within the offense, being disciplined when you had 2 fouls in the first half, not getting in foul trouble, but still contributing for your team. And then another guy, John Green, who came off the bench to step up. But hopefully, we'll see Gabe Vincent get going tonight as well.
Quick 5-0 run for the Gauchos to begin the second half. Hammonds from a corner three. That one goes strong. As Kupchak pulls down the rebound, he's fouled, coming back down onto the floor.
You just see the faces of UC Santa Barbara. You look at Kupchak on the last play, getting that rebound, and he sees that his team has the rhythm. And Travis Hammonds, he has to take better shots within this game to try to get them going, Mark.
Talk about a difference in body language. You can see it from the guys wearing the dark uniforms compared to the guys in white. Turnover at this end of the floor as Eric Childress left his feet. Fouls, trying to get out in transition quickly. Drop step from the free throw line, won't go down, but he's fouled.
Well, great makeup on that play from Travis Hammonds, getting that steal when Eric Childress get caught up in the air. But then you got Nick Fouls, who, you know, using that ball handling to get the foul. I actually thought there was 2 free throws in that play.
I agree with you. I thought it was too,
wow.
But instead it'll be Fouls to inbound it from just off the side of the backboard here at this end of the floor. Bibbins trying to get himself free. He does in front of Childress. That's a matchup of 2 very quick, speedy point guards. And in this occasion, it's Bibbins getting to the hole and laying it off the glass for 2.
Well, we want to see him get going because he's been an intricate part for what Long Beach State does. And that's what they need. They need someone else to step up and step Nick Fouls.
Only 4 points on the night for Bibbins. Straightaway 3 won't go down. Kupchak battling for the rebound, but it ends up in the hands of Travis Hammonds. Back to the other end. Gabe Levin lowered the shoulder underneath, and that's going to be an offensive foul against Levin.
You know what? He was inside of that line. That should have been an and one on that play. You look at this possession, great pass by Justin Bibbins. But when you have 1 foot on the line, that's not a charge. You know, referees are human. They make mistakes.
It would be the first time my partner, Corey Maggette, probably disagreed with the guys in stripes.
Yeah, man. You know, what do we call them? The zebras?
Zebras?
Yeah.
That would probably be the polite term that players use.
Well, the polite term in their eyes is you know them by name. Then we got Tommy Nunez right there. You know, you got to know these guys' name. I know you know them, Mark.
Of course I do.
You know, I had to know them when I played because I wanted to get to the foul line and score some buckets.
Yeah, Michael Irving and Daryl Galinas joining Tommy Nunez tonight here inside the pyramid. Corey Maggette, Rashawn Haylock, and Mark Rogandino here with you. Bryson again.
Did you see that? 2 dribbles stop to get Nick Fouls off of him and hit the shot. And then Nick Fouls returns the favor, hitting that tray ball.
Bryson leads all scorers with 21. Fouls not far behind with 19.
And this, you know, these 2 guys is definitely playing the way basketball is supposed to be played, as Eric Childress alleviates a defender and gets into the paint. But you love your superstars to have good games, and both of them are they doing it tonight.
Each here with an effective little jump stop there, and the 10-foot shot using glass to bank it home. Levin muscling his way down in the paint. Beeler standing tall with his hands high. And I think it's going to be a push out of bounds from behind. That's going to go against Sam Beeler.
Well, just look at this one dribble stop, get your defense off, and then square up and shoot the ball. But that is definitely a lead play by Michael Bryson.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, but even if Michael Bryson sheds the defender right there, shouldn't there be a second white jersey coming over to get in his face and not give him just a clear, wide-open chance to set up and shoot it?
Well, the defender was there. Gabe Levin was right there trying to run on and play. But, you know, when you having a night the way Michael Bryson is having, it started unconscious. It started with, you know, Michael Bryson Curry on that 30-footer, and now he's making those type of shots. It's hard for you to stop a player when they're rolling like that.
For those that missed the monster jam by Bryson in the first half, I'm sure we will show it to you later as he continues a huge night. Forward here for Kupchak. It's a 3-on-1. Gives it for Brewy. Now Kupchak looking to lay it in with the left hand. Brewy will finish it. No, he can't. Bryson had to look at a loose ball.
Well, Brewy he's supposed to finish that play. That was a great pass there by Kupchak, understanding which defender is going to go to who. But then, you know what he does? He is an active player. He's going after every rebound. He's diving for loose balls. He's doing what his team needs him to try to get him a win.
Head coach Bob Williams told us about Maxwell Kupchak, that he has been the biggest surprise on this team for the Gauchos.
Yes, he did.
A freshman coming in, has played in every game, started the last 11 games straight, and he has had a huge impact on the floor with intangible plays like that might not necessarily show up in the stat sheet.
But that's why he's in the starting lineup. You look at another guy we talked about with the Clippers, Luke Matamute. He does all the things on the stat sheet that you see in scoring, but he does the little things, and that's what Kupchak is doing. He's going after those rebounds. He's diving for.
It wasn't much of a contest.
Yeah, I know. Me, you, Nick Davis, Micah, Sarah Takata.
Bryson. A rare miss on the night for him. Foul pushing the pace back the other way. And Childress was trying to run Nick Faust off the ball, and he will pick up the personal foul. Second foul on Eric Childress.
If you can get everyone on the same page on what Nick Faust is doing, he's playing every possession. He's trying his hardest to get his team to go, but you need someone else to step up. And A.J. Spencer was hot early on. Justin Bibbins is a guy that hasn't been going. You want to see Gabe Levin get going, but you have to play with energy. Regardless if shots are going, you got to continue to do that, and that's what Nick Faust has been doing tonight. That's why he's been successful on the offensive end.
Gabe Levin will head to the line, 62% free throw shooter on the season. Coming off of a huge game in that 2-point loss to UC Riverside. 72-74 was the final in that one. Levin's been a little bit quiet here tonight. Just 6 points now as that free throw goes down.
Well, when you think about Long Beach State losing that game at UC Riverside, you know, Coach Dan Munson, he didn't lose a game in the last 14 tries against that. So you thought that Long Beach State was going to come out here with a lot of energy, but they did, and all of a sudden they went cold. So they need to come back and try to find some rhythm.
Levin knew immediately that free throw was not going to go down. There was a lane violation. It didn't count anyway. And now a little full court pressure coming here for Long Beach State. Into the hands of DeJuan Smith. Back for Kupchak. Had trouble getting forward. Fouls with a chance. He lowers the shoulder. Almost an and one as Childress tried to get position. But Nick Faust will be headed to the free throw line for a pair.
Great press on that play. Good hands by A.J. Spencer. And then also recognizing where Nick Faust, literally, look on that play. He ran after, took the ball, but it was smart when he seen the defender trying to take the charge. He went up right away before he got set, but that was just a great basketball IQ play by Nick Faust.
As Faust gets ready to go to the line for a pair, how do you best break the full court press?
Well, when you get guys, you have to have a guy that's taking it out of bounds. When he takes it out, the next guy has to be ready. You got to have a guy that is a ball handler that's taken out of bounds, because if they're trying to trap, you throw the ball back to the inbounder, and then that inbounder guy, he drives the lane to get a guy to fill up in the middle. But that's the way when you break a press. You got to have a ball handler taking the ball out of bounds.
Take a look at it here. I think it's Kupchak who inbounds it, and he gets the ball back, but he doesn't immediately put the ball on the floor to go.
You got to be immediate right away, but that's not his fault. The guy, if he dribbles to one side of the court, that guy has to be out going to the lane. The opposite wing offensive player has to sprint to the middle of the court and receive the ball. You see on that play, it was the same side guy go to the middle, and it was too late.
Turnover as Faust uses the quick hands to get it, and here's Bivens to bring it back up the floor.
I would have preferred Gabe Benson to take that play all the way because the defender didn't stop him all the way.
Smith trying to dribble out of traffic. Second personal against Justin Bivens. Both teams have had the referees busy here so far in this second half. Dangerous pass.
It's a dangerous pass. It should have been an offensive foul.
Yeah, it's going to be A.J. Spencer picking up the foul there of the body.
Well, you know, if T.J. Taylor comes in the game, you know, I know he hasn't played the first half, but when you come in the game, you got to make accurate passes. Right now, as soon as it double, it has to be quick. John Green on that play, he shouldn't step up. He steps right in from the out of bounds, receive the ball back, and then attack, and that's how you break the zone. Turn, now he attacks. That's how you break the zone, and it's allowed.
And there's Beeler with an easy finish at the rim with the odd number rush coming forward.
Smart play. That's how you break a press.
And a much-needed bucket for the Gauchos as they restore the double-digit lead, 52-41. Just under 16 minutes. Fouls, finds a lane, and he'll throw it down. That's 23 now for Long Beach State, leading scorer coming into the night.
He's doing it all. He's attacking the rim. He's shooting the three. He's diving on the loose ball. But, you know, you need some. They immediately went into a trap, and then the inbounder and Nick Faust went directly to John Green. So when that happens, the man in the middle has to flash to the ball to take the pressure off of the press.
Let's see if the Gauchos are able to break it here. I would imagine Coach Williams was talking about exactly that. It's going to be another turnover, and then Taylor commits the personal foul.
Well, you've seen on that play right there, they knew exactly what was going to happen. T.J. Taylor, as soon as he touched the ball, they immediately went into a trap, and then the inbounder and Nick Faust went directly to John Green. So when that happens, the man in the middle has to flash to the ball to take the pressure off of John Green and T.J. Taylor.
So Long Beach State inbounds into the hands of Travis Hammonds. And now here's Justin Bivens. Turnover. Green sticks his left paw out and pulls down the ball in the passing lane.
Well, you don't see Justin Bivens making those type of plays. But one on that play, because it's a pocket pass, you have to bounce that through when you have two defenders that have good hands in John Green.
Bryson asking for it on the block, but he won't get it. And I think this is going to be a foul off the ball against Michael Bryson.
No, it was in John Green.
Was it?
Santa Barbara fouls on 44, Michael Bryson.
Yeah, it's going to be on Bryson, yeah.
Wow.
That's his third. He had two early in the first half and was able to play the rest of the way without picking up a third, but he picks up his third about 5 minutes into the second half. So the lead stands at 9. Jones has come into the game. Faust cannot finish at the rim. Second chance opportunity, and they'll use Glass to put it down. He leads all scorers with 25.
Look at the activity on that play with Nick Faust. But first of all, he had a play right here. Kind of got stuck on the rim, but staying with the ball, going back up for two. But he's active on every possession. And then a foul. You've seen UC Santa Barbara. As soon as they got it out of bounds, they went right away. So Long Beach State wouldn't press.
Michael Bryson will inbound here, just off the corner of the Gauchos bench. There's Gabe Vincent. Childress now. Bryson out top. Out not a size mismatch. Instead, fires it underneath for Beeler and an easy two for the big man for the Gauchos.
Well, Bryson had the size advantage on that play, but then he looked at the better option where you go from 48% or you throw it down to where you want to have 90% with Sam Beeler in the paint.
Loose ball. Jones with the pass and the throw down from Gabe Levitt.
Great recognition there by Branford Jones on his own. When you get two guys that attack you, Gabe Levitt gets the pass and for the two-hand jam.
I'll be honest with you, Corey. I'm surprised that UC Santa Barbara is not using Michael Bryson and his quickness and his dribble to break down this press, because it is clearly giving them problems.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes teams relax, and this is not the time when you want to relax. And it looks like from where we're sitting, that UC Santa Barbara is taking a cup of coffee to relax. They need to get that mojo back, because Long Beach State, they're trying to change the momentum by being active on the defensive end and going for the press.
Sam Beeler is not a good free throw shooter. 19% on the season. Wow. Coming into the night, he's only made 4 of 21, so that's not a bad foul for Long Beach State. As they trail by 7, Bivens kicks it out for fouls. Doesn't hesitate on the three. Couldn't get it. Green rising up for the rebound. And he'll give it to the junior guard and Eric Childress to bring it across the timeline.
See, this is where you need Michael Bryson to be more active, to demand the ball. You're one of the stars on this floor. Your team needs you to be more assertive now. Good shot there by Eric Childress.
Wide open look at a three there for Eric Childress. He knocks it down to put it back to a double-digit lead for UC Santa Barbara. Trying to make it 2 straight wins in Big West play after they took down CSUN 74-61 last weekend to stop a 2-game losing streak that included a loss to these 49ers.
Well, that's a great pass there by John Green. We know if you look at the conference standings on three-point percentage, Eric Childress is shooting 57%. So you got to recognize where guys is and if they are shooting. So that's important to pay attention to your scouting report.
Prince with a chance in the paint underneath. Got tangled up with Sam Beeler. His second. You know, you can only think about what Coach Bob Williams told us on the call this week when you ask, you know, what's been the difference in some of their games in conference play so far this year. And the first thing he pointed to was his team's ability to finish games. They had leads down the stretch against conference leaders like Hawaii and haven't been able to finish off games. Tonight they've got a 10-point lead with 13 minutes still to go here. Can they finish this one off on the road and pull out their 3rd win in Big West play?
Well, we heard that both from Coach Dan Musson and Bob Williams, that both teams still trying to find their identity. And you look at what Long Beach, even though they have veteran guys on their team, this is a new team. Guys coming from different places. And then UC Santa Barbara, who, oh my goodness, rely a lot on Al Williams on the post where you have to get a quick basket. They're trying to find another guy, and that should be Michael Bryson. And so this is a position where they can finish games to help their team. Like we just talked about, what you call him? E-Chill?
E-Chill.
Come on now, you got to follow scouting report. He's got 57% from 3 in conference.
He's got 12, and that's 3 scores in double figures now for the Gauchos as they push the lead back up to 13. Branford Jones in the lane, another turnover. And Jones going into the crowd just off to our right here to try and steal it right back, but it'll be UC Santa Barbara ball with 28 left on the shot clock.
Just a great shot there by Eric Childress. You know, you got to, like I said, you got to look at the scout report. The guy that can shoot a 3 first half, he didn't make a shot. He's made 2 ever since then. But you have to recognize every guy. When Michael Bryson was going on and he was facilitating and John Green kind of kicked in, they forgot about the other players. And then Eric Childress picked it up. And this is even without Gabe Vincent being assertive on the offensive end.
Corey, I mentioned for the Gauchos, 3 players in double figures. In contrast, the 49ers, Long Beach State, only have Nick Faust with 25. And their next closest would be Levin and Spencer, who both have 8. Remember, Spencer's 8 all came in the first half.
Yeah.
Here's Jones pushing it up the floor. finding Spencer. That one high off the glass. A bit clumsy, but a turnover. Bibbins picks it up, and he'll put it into the hands of Hammonds. Jones doesn't hesitate on the 3 ball. That one comes off the iron, and it's Bryson with one hand to pull down the rebound.
Well, first of all, you make that turnover, then you go back, right back to the position, get your defensive rebound for your team. But right now, you know, we kept seeing the momentum switch back and forth. But UC Santa Barbara is now sticking with their press ball. If they continue to stay solid on offensive end, it's going to be a win for UC Santa Barbara.
Maybe a bit early in the shot clock there from Bryson. And at the other end, it's a knockdown 12-foot jumper there for A.J. Spencer. He now becomes the second player in double figures for the Beach with 10.
Well, he started off hot, got a little cold, but that was just a great play in transition to get that mid-range jump shot.
As we tick down under 11 minutes to go here in the second half, and an 11-point lead for UC Santa Barbara. Bryson kicks it out top. Childress has had the hot hand with the 3 ball. Can't knock that one down. Bibbins going to go full speed into Bryson.
That's all.
No shot. And that'll be foul number 4 on Michael Bryson. I don't know. You can clearly see Bibbins initiating contact outside the restricted area.
That was a bad call. Come on, Tommy.
Phil Rashawn Haylock, the best of our Big West men's basketball crew here with you tonight. Glad to have you along on Prime Ticket. Bibbins heads to the line, and he is flat out the best free throw shooter on the roster for Dan Munson. 84% on the season, knocks the first one down to cut it to a 10-point game, and that will cut it back to single digits.
Well, you think about that play on there. That was a tough call. You know, that's a big play. A great hustle. Oh, look at the hustle.
It's 11. A.J. Spencer trying to win that one. He did, but he also stepped out of bounds. And the press is giving them trouble right now. Continues to give UC Santa Barbara fits right now, and if you're another team from around the Big West, take note of that. Nine-point game as we approach the midway point of the second half. Michael Bryson, the leading scorer on the night. UC Santa Barbara is over on the bench, Corey, with 4 fouls. So they're going to have to find a way to kind of sustain the push right here from Long Beach State. It stands at a 9-point lead right now with their team leader and team leading scorer on the bench right now. Yeah, Gabe Vincent just turned the ball. This is a tough night for him on the offensive end. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to bring John Green back in the game, because they have to have somebody else besides Eric Childress make some shots for his team. Fouls driving hard, kicks it out for Hammonds. He's been quiet tonight as well. Tries to lower his shoulder, back out top. Nick Fouls for the 3 ball. That comes off the front of the iron, and look at Beeler go up high to secure the rebound for the Gauchos. Man, use his height and size to get that board. Eric Childress has hit a couple of big 3s here in the second half to help Santa Barbara keep the lead intact. It was 9 at the halfway point, and that is where it stands now. Kupchak short on that one. And Gabe Levin pulls it down for the rebound. 5th rebound of the night for Levin. Shot clock down to 15. Fouls uses the screen out top, kicks it to Bibbins for 3, and he's got it. Smart play, because you know the defense is going to key in on Nick Fouls, and they completely forgot about Justin Bibbins. And he gets going. This turns into a 7-0 run. You got to finish that, son. Beeler couldn't hold the pass. It's 2-on-1 back the other way. Bibbins to Fouls off the glass. And the lead is quickly shrinking as it's down to 4. Here comes the full court press again. Out top for Kupchak. He's got a 2-on-1. Bounce pass for Beeler. It's behind him. And another turnover. Turnovers. That's just a bad play. Oh, that's a dunk. Oh. Fouls looking to finish, and he's fouled on his way to the rim. And the crowd loving every bit of it as turnovers are turning to points for Long Beach State. Well, just look at the position right there. Everyone keying in on Nick Fouls. Forgets about Justin Bibbins. And then they get a steal in transition. And then him, one of the best passes. And also, as far as turnover ratio, getting the ball to Nick Fouls, who's having a sensational night tonight. But
you know, we talked about momentum. It's just going back and forth, and now, right now, it's in Long Beach State's favor.
Last 2 trips down the court, Sam Beeler for the Gauchos has had 2 golden chances to finish at the rim. Either the pass has not been in the right spot as Faust knocks down that free throw.
Well, you got to be tougher with the ball. I don't think it was the pass. If you think about the last pass by Kutchet, he threw it behind his defender. You know, when you're in a position where it's a 2-on-1, you continue to attack it until the defenders come to you, and then you make the nice bounce pass. You got to always be aggressive. You don't first look for the pass and throw it behind your teammate.
It's an 11-0 run, and the closest that Long Beach State has been since the game was tied at 29 in the first half.
This is what you do.
Bryson with 4 fouls will have to be careful as he comes back in the game for UC Santa Barbara. They reset things out top into the hands of guard Eric Childress.
I would have expected on that last play when Michael Bryson got the ball to be aggressive and attack the rim.
There is Bryson, double teamed out top. Had a little screen and roll there with Mitch Brewery. And the pass out of bounds as the turnovers continue to come. And it's exactly what we were talking about for Bob Williams, the inability to finish games.
And that's about, you know what? When you start to get pressure on guys, you know what they say, pressure bust pipes. The pressure right now is on UC Santa Barbara. And Long Beach State started to play free, and that's good. It's open now. You know what? When you start playing free and get on the defensive end and be a good move.
Can't finish it off. Jones runs down the loose ball. Full head of steam. Cross-court pass for Bibbins. It's strong. And Green rises up to pull it down, and he's fouled by Hammonds.
Well, you know what? All the rhythm switched in this entire game has followed suit.
So the question probably becomes, how do you slow Nick Faust and the rest of Long Beach State down? What was going on, Rashawn, over in the UCSB huddle?
The main emphasis was on the offensive end, Rogo. Bob Williams told his team, we're making bounce passes behind guys. We're jittery. We have to settle down. If they overplay in the half court, back cut. It's there. Make sure you get your head up. Be poised and finish. We're in the bonus. It's open to be able to attack the basket, guys.
A little less than 8 minutes to see if indeed the Gauchos can finish things off. As we're tied at 61, 1 of 2 going down there for John Green. Well, 17 turnovers, Corey, on the night here. You talked about turnovers for Long Beach State, but it's UC Santa Barbara over the last 3 or 4 minutes that have constantly turned the ball over.
Well, you look at the stat sheet, you say the best players of tonight, it's been turnovers that has cost them the game. Michael Bryson has 5 turnovers. Nick Faust has 5 turnovers. But some of those turnovers in the first half and then in the second half, and it's changed the team. You see him. It's all about your team being poised. And right now, UC Santa Barbara is not doing that, Mark.
John Green was about to throw the lob to the rim, and instead he thought better about it. And so look at that. That is 12 turnovers this half.
Wow.
18 on the night. And you see Long Beach State making some hay with 13 points off those turnovers.
They're in the bonus. So that means you got to be aggressive to go to the rim. And like for Michael Bryson, John Green, you guys attack the rim. If you don't score, you're going to go to the foul line. But that's about being poised and understanding the game. And now look at this.
31 points, the career high number in a game continues to swell for Nick Faust, and the lead back to 2 here for Long Beach State.
Well, first of all, it's a great pass there by Gabe Levin, recognizing the zone, getting in the middle of the lane, and then Nick Faust running across the baseline, getting in the right spot at the right time, but he's just playing unbelievable basketball.
Green will pull up. That one comes up short, back out top for Childress, and he's fouled trying to catch the pass from Michael Bryson.
Just look at Faust right now, recognizing the zone. And then Gabe, it all started with him because you got to know where to pass the ball. You have to have a great feel for the game, and that's what Gabe Levin has. But Nick Faust, man, he's just in the right place, understanding that where he can get his points from, he's not particularly shooting well from the 3. So what do? If the 3 ball is not falling, you attack the basket, and he's been doing an exceptional job tonight.
And by the way, that bucket we showed you for Nick Faust just a moment ago gives him now 11 made baskets on the night. That is a new career high as well. And you see, remember Mike Caffey.
Oh, man, look at that. That's a great comparison.
Yep.
You see what Mike Caffey has done for the Long Beach State program.
A rare miss, actually, at the free throw line there for Childress. He shoots 83%, second best free throw shooter on the team for the Gauchos. Gauchos trail by a point. Jones into the lane, almost got tangled up and lost it. It'll fall on the floor, but it'll stay at this end of the court. 8 seconds left on the shot clock.
Well, that was 2 fouls there that I thought on Bradford Jones when he was attacking the paint. But in Long Beach State, what they need to do now is be solid with the ball. Because right now the game is in their favor. Even though it's still close, they have the momentum.
Tibbins comes off the screen, gives it to Faust. 5 left, see if he hoists it up for a 3. He does. That one is strong. Beeler pulls down the rebound and quickly gets it out of his hands to Childress. A pair of teams trying to get a good run going in the second half of the Big West schedule. It was a 10-point win for Long Beach State a week ago up in Central California inside the Thunderdome. Can the Gauchos repay the favor? 5.5 minutes to go. Green in the lane, spins out of traffic, and the left hand will not go down. Loose rebound, right back up with it, and it still won't go. Bryson tries to throw it up. He's fouled from behind. It's going to be a jump ball.
Wow.
Possession stays at this end of the floor for UC Santa Barbara.
I love the activity. I love the hustle from every one of these guys on the floor. But it looks like Eric Childress, he got hit in the mouth. His mouth was bleeding. See if he's going over on the side. But Long Beach State is just more active now in this game. And if you want to win, you know, you lose to these guys before in January 20th. I mean, UC Santa Barbara has missed 8 straight field goals. And it's been good field goal shots inside the paint within 5 to 10 feet.
They need their leading scorer, Michael Bryson, to heat up again here with 5 minutes and change left. This is Gabe Vincent, has had a very quiet night after having a 20-point outing the last time out for the Gauchos. Pass underneath for Beeler. It was a little too hot to handle.
6 turnovers. That's what Coach Bob Williams said. The biggest thing that you want Bryson to work on is turnovers.
13 second-half turnovers. Faust will just turn around. That one comes up strong as well. And out of bounds, it's going to go to the Gauchos.
Man, he's definitely fighting tonight. He's taking those hits. You know, he might need a sub after this because he's playing his heart out. Yeah, he's getting a sub. Oh, no, he's not.
It's going to be A.J. Spencer that will step off. Travis Hammonds, the junior forward, comes back in the game, and we're going to have a timeout on the floor. On your local Fox affiliate. From the Octagon back to the hardwood here inside the Pyramid. And you look at Long Beach State, Corey. They have lost by 5 or less points 6 times this year, including their most recent 74-72 at UC Riverside last weekend. We talked about both teams being able to close down the stretch. It's going to look like whichever team can execute at both ends of the floor here coming down the stretch. And you look at it, there's been lack of execution for UC Santa Barbara over the last 8+ minutes. Well,
we talked about this earlier from both coaches. Is this team, both teams need to find a way to learn how to win, to learn how to close games. And right now, you see what Long Beach State, they've been in the close games. And you look at what their problem has been turnovers, lack of execution coming down late in games. And then it's been the same thing for UC Santa Barbara. Lack of execution late in the game, having guys step up because they don't have like an Al Williams in the paint to go for a go-to bucket. So both of these teams have the ability to be good teams, but which team is just going to settle down, stay poised in their team and in their offensive?
Gauchos bring it up the floor. Beeler looking for the back cut there from Childress. By the way, Childress, the last player to make a field goal, it was a 3 at 12:51. It's been over 8 minutes since the Gauchos had a last made field goal. Let's check in with Rashawn Haylock.
Nick Faust very animated during that last time out. He was standing up in the huddle. He threw down his towel and he started clapping his hands saying, "Come on, guys, let's go. Let's get this dub. We worked too hard." Dan Munson stepped in, told his guys to keep it up. He said, if we don't get anything out of our initial offense, let's look to try to go down low to Gabe Levin. Of course, that was before fouls checked back into the game, so we'll see if that changes or not.
Yeah, you wonder, Rashawn, if some of the pressure of a tightly heated contest is getting to guys a little bit. Michael Bryson is an 81% free throw shooter. He misses the first of a pair. And that would have been a chance to tie the game, but he'll still have this second one to see if he can even things up at 63 apiece. And he does. First points for Michael Bryson since a three about 2.5 minutes into the second half, excuse me. And he's got 22 on the night.
You have to be aggressive, you know, running down, trying to track down rebounds. You have to always be aggressive on the offensive end when your team really relies on your scoring. And Michael Bryson kind of faded away in this game, and then Nick Faust is the guy that kind of stayed active. You know, you would expect Michael Bryson to kind of pick up their intensity because his team needs him in order for them to be successful.
15th turnover on the night for Long Beach State as A.J. Spencer quickly went to the no-look pass for Justin Bibbins. The two of them not on the same page. And so the Gauchos with a chance to regain the lead. Bryson double-teamed out top, passes to Green just inside the three-point line. Matched up against Travis Hammonds, lowers the right shoulder, goes to the right hand, and a nice little teardrop with the right hand to regain the lead. 65-63, Gauchos in front.
Well, Coach Bob Williams loves to have John Green back because he is so versatile for this team, but just having the patience down in the post, taking his time, and then getting inside to the paint. Just great execution there by John Green.
Fouls finds some room out top. He'll let the three ball go. Beeler will pull down the rebound. And a wise decision, I think, by UC Santa Barbara as they slow the flow a little bit to bring it back up the court.
You got to close games out. So the clock is in your favor. Be patient. Take quality shots. Get the ball right now like they're doing to John Green. See if he can alleviate for another play.
Green cannot finish. Beeler putting his body on the floor to try and win it. Another jump ball, and this time it goes to the host, Long Beach State.
Well, I don't know what happened on that play. It kind of seemed like Travis Hammonds patted the ball to try to get it to a teammate instead of picking it up.
Remaining here in the second half. And a chance now to either tie or take the lead for the 49ers. Bibbins. He was the guy that absolutely killed the Gauchos when these teams met a week ago, as he poured in 25 points in 36 minutes. He's been a bit more quiet here tonight. Faust has been the story. Spencer, corner three won't go down. It was last touched by Santa Barbara, I believe.
That's a good call.
But they're going to say it was actually last touched by Long Beach State. Keep in mind, Michael Bryson, the leading scorer for UC Santa Barbara, has been playing with 4 fouls for the majority of this second half.
That's probably why he hasn't been so aggressive in the game, because he leads the game with being in foul trouble. You got to have other guys step up, and Gabe Vincent is not having a good game tonight.
Yeah, Gabe Vincent not having a good game. He's got 0 points, Corey. Shot clock down to 10 as they give it onto the block here for Green. Dribbles out to the perimeter looking for help. Childress with the shot clock winding down to 4, 3, 2. He's going to have to just throw it up. That'll come off and find nothing but air as it bounces out of play with 2:05 remaining. And the ball turns back over to Long Beach State.
Well, this is a position where Michael Bryson has to want the ball. John Green recognized that they want to get it to their best player, and then he ran away from the block because he wanted to get him down in the low post. And then you, in that position, now you got to shoot a desperation three at the end of the game.
Hammonds with a corner three. He connects, and it's a 1-point lead for Long Beach State.
Well, Coach Bob Wilson talked about the bench of Long Beach State, and Travis Hammonds, one of the tough guys, being aggressive, knocking down shots, but he was a little shaky early on, but man, he's making big play after big play for this team.
Corey, first bucket of the night for Gabe Vincent, and it comes at a huge time to put the Gauchos back in front by a point. 1:20 and ticking here in the second half. Kickball. So it'll stay at this end of the floor.
Well, Travis Hammonds is a guy that can shoot the ball. He can attack the rim. Early on, he was kind of making those lackadaisical passes with turnovers, but then made a big three before that and now hit a big three. You just love guys coming in and being assertive, forgetting about the play, going on to the next play when you make mistakes.
18 on the shot clock as they inbound it into the hands of their point guard, Justin Bibbins. He'll drive the lane. Beeler says, get it out. Back the other way comes Childress with a chance to slow things down. Timeout, UC Santa Barbara.
Where UC Irvine or Hawaii in, but it's been turnovers and then poor execution in late game.
Bryson inbounds into the hands of TJ Taylor, who's had a couple of miscues handling the ball here tonight. Brewy, as Taylor comes off of a low screen. They get it onto the post here for Green. Picks up his dribble. They give it to Bryson underneath, and the shot will not go down. Hammonds pulls down the rebound. 15 seconds separate the game clock and the shot clock. Faust, who has a career-high 31 tonight, gives it up for Bibbins. Levin from the free throw line, back for Faust. Hard dribble, pullback jumper! He got it!
Oh, man. He's been aggressive, but that was an unbelievable step back behind the back with the dribble to alleviate his defender. And when you are playing this well, those type of shots is going to go in. But that's all about work ethic as well for Nick Faust.
Levin can't find it. Bibbins pulls it down. The shot clock is dark. They give it to Spencer. Back to Bibbins. They have got to foul, and they finally do. Gabe Levin could not hit the shot. He's been cold all night with only 2 points. He missed the bucket that would have given the Gauchos a lead, and now the foul by Levin, his 5th as he fouls out, and it'll send Justin Bibbins, the best free throw shooter for Long Beach State, to the line to try and seal it.
Well, unbelievable play there by Nick Faust. He had John Green on him, and you think about John Green in that knee, couldn't get back to recover, but that's just an exceptional play by alleviating the defense, using the step back, and fading for the shot. You know, with a career night for him with 33. And then you look on the back end, Justin Bibbins recognizing the clock, running away from the defenders. And then you got to, you know, when you come out of a timeout, you got to be aware because they didn't know if they should foul right away. And you waste time on the clock, and you get him a chance to go to the foul line.
Corey, there was probably about 14 seconds left on the game clock. As I mentioned, the shot clock was dark, but yet 6 or so seconds run off the game clock as it's 8.5 left now here in the second half. Bibbins will have a chance to go to the line for a pair. He's an 84% free throw shooter on the season. Here tonight, just 9 points for Bibbins. 2 of 3 tonight. I don't know if you saw the numbers earlier, but Michael Bryson, how hot he was in the first half with 15, but only 7 points here in the second half, and it hasn't been into a good rhythm. Here's Bibbins. Knocks down the first of 2. So a 2-point game. And as you look at the bottom of our graphic here, look at that. The Gauchos do not have a timeout remaining.
Wow.
So with 8.5 seconds left on the game clock, if Bibbins hits this one, they'll have to go the full length of the floor and try and find a quality shot to tie the game.
If they don't have a 3, you attack the paint right away. I don't know about the timeout right there.
It's Dan Munson.
And on the other side, they're going to look for a screen coming out to the top of the key.
The full court pressure here in the second half from Long Beach State has been a huge component to help them get back in this game. Here comes TJ Taylor. They'll bring it across center court. Under 5 seconds to go. Bryson spins up underneath. He got fouled. No, it won't go down, but he'll go to the free throw line for 3.
Wow, that was a smart play by Michael Bryson. Nick Faust is a guy who's an active defender, but you have to stay down on that. That's just a smart play by Bryson. Now he goes to the foul line to give a chance right now to send this game into overtime. So we're going to see if the 81% tonight is going to be legit.
He's got 22 points on the night, but he's 2 of 3 from the free throw line. The first one has the most pressure behind it, and he knocks it down. Only 0.6 left on the clock.
Who better to get the ball than your best player? And for him to go to the foul line to tie this game up for your team.
Remember the maniacs who are behind the basket that Michael Bryson is shooting at tonight. They had their maniac manual that they put out for all the students over there, and it had Michael Bryson with a bullseye around his name. He's got 23 points on the night.
Hey, you know what? That was a great move there by Dan Munson to ice the free throw shooter. You know, right now, Bryson was ready to go back to the foul line and shoot, and all of a sudden a little commotion happened, and Coach Dan Munson came, the referees got involved, and now you should have seen Bob Williams. He was going berserko because now you just took your guy off the free throw line. He's one of your best free throw shooters.
Corey, you went to the free throw line quite often in your career. What did it do for you when somebody in a late game situation like this tried to ice you going to the charity stripe?
Well, you know what? That when it comes down.
And here's the second of three for Michael Bryson. He knocked down the first. He needs this one with a chance to go and tie the game. That one was nothing but net as it goes down.
Man, Robo, that looked like you shooting right there. That was all net.
You're too kind, Corey Maggette.
I just love the patience. I love the way he's taking his time, regardless of all the outside noise. He's sticking with his rhythm at the free throw line, and he's going there to make it to help his team win.
And you see the sea of maniacs he has to look into. This one to tie the game, and he knocks it down.
That's ice water.
Dan Munson will use his final timeout as the game is level at 70 apiece. And you wonder what kind of play Long Beach State can draw up here. Some discrepancy as to why the clock went back to a second. Can you shed a little light on it for us, Rashawn?
If Bob Williams was not happy, and Corey, you shed some light on it a moment ago.
Unlike in the NBA, when the timeout is called, you cannot advance it here to center court. So with 1 second, it's going to be Gabe Levin who's going to have to do his best Matt Barnes impersonation here and chuck it the length of the floor. He'll use the entire baseline, tries to go to fouls. He'll get it off. It's got a chance, but it was actually a backcourt violation. Fouls caught in the front court, stepped back over into the backcourt.
And that was a guy that you really didn't want to catch the ups and downs during this game.
And so they'll jump it at center court. Beeler matched up against Levin. And no problem at all for the 6'10 senior forward, Sam Beeler. And the first possession of overtime goes to the Gauchos. There was the aforementioned cup check. Now Childress trying to get it onto the block for Michael Bryson, battling there against Nick Faust. The two leading scorers for each of their respective sides.
Well, you want him to be careful, Bryson, because he has those 4 fouls.
Beeler cannot get to the rebound after Bryson cannot finish. So we remain tied at 70 as A.J. Spencer fouled out on the perimeter.
Santa Barbara fouls on number 10, Maxwell Kupchak.
That'll go against Maxwell Kupchak, his second of the night. His dad is about 8 rows up behind the UC Santa Barbara bench. And I've looked over a couple of times. He's also got the iPad out because remember the general manager of the LA Lakers, his team is probably deep in their game at Staples Center against the Bulls here tonight.
You're absolutely right.
First free throw will not go down for Spencer. And the second one is perfect. #122nd all-time meeting between these two schools. First 2 halves and 40 minutes of basketball were not enough to determine a winner, so we're into overtime here. Some free basketball for all the fans inside the pyramid here tonight. 16 left on the shot clock. As Green will inbound it into the hands of Eric Childress. Kupchak out onto the perimeter, matched up against Spencer. Here's Green. He'll pull the trigger on a 3. That one too strong. Bryson got a hand to it, but couldn't pull down the rebound. And here's Bivens to bring it across center court.
Well, this is what Coach talked about, trying to close the game. So what team is going to close it out now? Who's going to be disciplined on the offensive end and on the defensive end? And Long Beach right now has the lead. So it's about them executing on the offensive end to make good plays. Jump ball. Get the ball back.
Stay down here at this end of the floor.
Jump ball on the floor, and he's ball out of bounds.
I thought it actually should have switched. I think we've had 2 jump balls, and each team got 1.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm splitting hairs here, according to Getty. 6 left on the shot clock.
We got to shoot that.
Levin will shoot the 3. High arcing shot won't go down. Faust trying to come in over the top and secure the rebound. But instead, he knocks it out of play. And with 3:32 left, it'll be UC Santa Barbara to inbound.
A good shot for him. I mean, Bivens got 2 defenders to commit to him, get the ball to corner to Gabe Levin to knock down that shot. Just missed it. You've seen Nick Faust trying to go for the offensive rebound, but that was good execution on offensive end.
Green. Now Childress. Bivens steps out on the perimeter to defend. Screen and roll with Sam Beeler. Now it's Green looking for a seam, and the finger roll won't go down. Beeler trying to put it back up, but it bounced off of the leg of Sam Beeler and out of play.
Well, great play to stop John Green from going to the basket was Travis Hammonds taking that charge on that play. And then Beeler, you have to be tougher to try to grab that rebound and go up because you had a chance to send your team up in the lead 72-71. A great defense down there by Long Beach State.
Long Beach State looking for their first overtime win of the year. They went to double overtime with Cal Poly back in mid-January up there in Central California. A double OT 96-92 loss. Under 3 minutes to go here in the overtime. Shot clock down to 15. Spencer comes off the screen out top, driving hard with the left hand. That one well too strong. Cup check, pulls down the rebound, and Bryson will put it into the hands of senior guard T.J. Taylor.
Not a good possession on that play. You would want A.J. Spencer, you're saying Nick Faust in the corner to get all the defenders to kind of commit to you, get a pass out. You still have more time on the clock. That's in your favor right now.
Bryson comes off the screen, but he lost the handle in the paint. And another turnover. Second half and now into overtime. Turnovers have absolutely killed the Gauchos here tonight.
And their best player has 7 turnovers in Michael Bryson.
Foul.
Good move.
Finger roll, can't finish. But he'll head to the line for a pair. Working on a career high here tonight is Nick Faust. He's got 33.
Man.
And a chance to add to it here.
He's leaving everything on the floor.
And you got to love that.
You got to love that. You know, sometimes you live with the mistakes. You know, the mistakes would probably be from a coach's eyes, you know, 5 turnovers. But what he's been doing everywhere else, defending on the perimeter, getting his hands deflections with the ball, rebounding the basketball with 8 rebounds, attacking the basket, going to the free throw line to make plays, getting your team to change their momentum and the way they're thinking on the court. That's what you want from one of your star players in Nick Faust.
First missed free throw on the night for senior Nick Faust. He's 7 of 8 from the free throw line. And the lead stands at 2 for the 49ers of Long Beach State. Bryson gives it for Green.
Offensive foul.
Offensive foul against John Green. That'll be his 3rd.
Great play there by Gabe Levin. Selling the call on the charge. Well, what guy's going to lock up? You look at this great drive. He was already beat. And then Gabe, you know, he's an actor. You are in California.
Feels like we're writing a Hollywood script here tonight. A back and forth affair between Long Beach State and UC Santa Barbara. Levin. Good move. No hesitation. He goes strong and uses glass. The lead is 4.
You get a charge on one end. You get the ball in the middle of the zone. You be patient, recognize, and you attack the basket. But just great play there by Gabe Levin.
Bryson.
Defense.
Trying to pass down low for DeJuan Smith. And a turnover comes at the worst time for the Gauchos, who will now put in a little bit of full court pressure of their own.
Well, just a great play in the middle of the zone, attacking the basket, making Sam Beeler try to stop you on the defensive end. And then on the opposite end, they get a stop on the defensive end from Nick Faust, getting his hands on the ball, the deflection. If you look at his plus minus tonight, he has to be plus 30 tonight.
Bivens circling through traffic. Picks
Gotta
it back
shoot.
on top. Bivens will let it go. Beeler will pull down the rebound. The lead is 4, and we're under a minute to go. Smith can go hard. Bibbins comes up with the steal, but it'll stay at this end of the floor.
Wow, great hustle. Great hustle there by Justin Bibbins, one of your leaders of this team. And we talked about it early on. Look at that. He had a wide open layup, and then Justin Bibbins stuck with the play on the defensive end. But UC Santa Barbara in OT right now, they're 0 for 4 with 3 turnovers. You're not going to win games if you continue to turn the ball over.
They're going to call the backcourt violation here.
Wow.
Spencer never touched the ball as he dove on the floor to try and get a touch to it, as Green was trying to run it down, and that is the 4th turnover of overtime.
Oh, man. That was, I don't even know about that play, Mark. You have
I
two
think
guys.
Bob Williams is trying to argue that there was a touch here. Is there a touch?
Both guys.
I don't know if Hammond's ever touched it.
Yeah.
Or Spencer.
Yeah, I don't know about that play. Both
Here,
guys.
this will give you the best look right here.
He did touch it.
He did get a touch to it.
He did.
He did get a touch to it.
That's a bad call. See, those are the type of plays when coaches want to pull their hair out. You know, because, you know, not saying the referees have one of the toughest jobs in this league.
Play the free throw game. Because even if you D up for 30 seconds, you leave yourself
foul right away.
19 seconds on the clock.
Now they have to go and foul.
And they give it to the best free throw shooter for Long Beach State in Justin Bibbins. Taylor trying to reach in, and he'll be whistled for the personal. He sends Justin Bibbins to the line, 11 points on the night, 4 of 5 from the free throw line.
Tell what you have, Mark. Tell what you have. You know, I just love the effort from both teams. You know, sometimes, you know, as basketball players and people watching us as players, they expect it to be a perfect game. Basketball is not a perfect game. And those type of things happen with turnovers, deflections, guys missing shots. And then you have it where you see the beauty of the game when guys making those plays, making shots, players diving on a loose ball, giving their all on the court. And that's what's been happening tonight.
It has got to be driving Gaucho's head coach Bob Williams nuts, the fact that his team, for one reason or another, cannot finish ball games. They have yet to score a point in overtime. Bibbins will be fouled, and he'll have a chance to ice the ball game going to the free throw line. It's a 6-point lead with 28.4 left, and it looks like Long Beach State are going to escape after trailing by as much as 15 in the second half.
Well, what was it? 0 for 5 field goals in OT, 5 turnovers. You're not going to win games, and you have to close games out. You know, Bob Williams, hey, our biggest thing is our team understanding how to win and then how to close games out. And this is a perfect example when you have the game in hand and then you lose it by turnovers, not being aggressive on the offensive end.
Are going to earn win number 10 on the year, and their 4th win in Big West play, get themselves back in the win column after a 2-point loss to UC Riverside last time out.
It's over now, Mark.
Taylor will quickly bring it up the floor, throwing into the hands of Sam Walters, his first minutes of the night. Jumper will come up short. Bibbins will hold it, and that should just about do it. Bryson closing in. Bibbins will get away from it. No whistle with 10 seconds left. Back to Bibbins. And John Green. Oh, excuse me, I think the foul is going to go against Alex Hart.
Bryson.
No, it's Bryson. That's his 5th. What a way for the leading scorer for the Gauchos to go out. He was so big, Corey, in the first half.
Yes, he was.
Whatever it was defensively, including the full court press in the second half for Long Beach State, but they really not only locked him up, but at times they really locked up UC Santa Barbara offensively.
Well, I think it had to do with it being in that early foul trouble. When you have 4 fouls, you have to be less aggressive, and that's what we've seen from Michael Bryson. But then what that happens is you have to take care of the ball. And those, if we look at what on the stat sheet, what those 7 turnovers probably accumulated as far as points, that was a big difference in the game, but they needed him. You got to have, you know, Gabe Vincent right tonight was non-existent. And this is a guy that averages 17.8 in Big West play.
Green will throw up the three at the buzzer. It won't count.